Hey, what's up, everybody? Hagamatsu today. Today, I'm going to be addressing, in my opinion, one of Deepwoken's biggest issues. That would be the problem that is Deepwoken's health and equipment. The thing is, we have constantly seen the devs reducing equipment health for large health sets to be nerfed, particularly targeting those duper sets that spread around. This would unfortunately also target regular players' builds in the crossfire. With equipment bonuses and the right talents, you could possibly still get above 650 health in the game currently. At the moment, most people, because of the fact that you can still achieve this high level of health from equipment, will always look at health as the most important stat no matter what. Whenever you look at an equipment stats, you always read off the health first, and no matter what, you just, add on the secondary effects after, like plus 12 ether. This does two things. First, it will always undermine the value of every other stat in the game, with the exception of perhaps percent versus monsters if you're aiming for that type of build. Second, it makes anything that does not have a high amount of health seem effectively useless, even if there are other high amounts of stats on that piece of armor. We can clearly see this with armor enchants. Whenever you get an armor enchant, if it does not have high health, it is immediately seen as trash and you're pretty disappointed. Contrast this to weapon enchants, where most of the time when you find one, it's usually a good high level weapon enchant or an alloyable weapon, so it doesn't really matter what you find if you're grinding in the good areas. Even if you're holding on to that gilded knife that was deferred for whatever reason that you got in Arisia, there's still hope on there that you can use it in a later update due to alloys. With armor enchants, there seems to be no chance whatsoever that will be useful in a later update unless they allow you to smelt the armor enchant onto a higher piece of equipment. So people usually don't care what happens to their low level armor enchants. But is it a bad thing that health is the most important stat? Some people argue that it's actually quite nice to only have to really grind for one stat being health. Personally, I find it really monotonous to just keep looking for armors that are above 25 health for every single build that I make. I also think that it's quite a bit uninteresting that health is really the most important thing by far. So how could we amend this issue? Some cool ways I think that they could add on to armors in the first place is with talents in the game being added onto the armors, or equipments. We see this with the Herbalist hat in the game, giving you Iron Gut and Herbivore. Talent could be added onto items in the game, such as Knight's Helm having Knight's Rally, or Smith's Bandana having Blood Iron Spirit. Of course, a lot of people don't really consider these talents that great, but this is more so to give newer items that come out in the future better talents that may really have people consider that talent on a specific item over having higher health. Personally, I think they could add even unique talents for equipment, like some of the current armors in the game from the Adept set. They could even add set bonuses like in Terraria, where having the Con Helmet and Con Boots give you some sort of boost towards Legion Kata. Now, the more controversial approach would be to either remove or replace health from equipment. This was originally suggested to me by Fanare, who gave me this thought in the first place. Of course, if they outright removed health, a lot of people have a knee-jerk reaction and would start getting worried that they would get one comboed in the game. There are a couple ways that they could tackle this though to make up for the lack of health. Some people suggested that they just straight up add armor resistances to equipment, like plus 3% physical resistance on a Starduster. They could even add stuff like percent resistances towards elemental as well, or add individual resistances such as blunt, slash, etc. Since health as a stat would be replaced, this would also allow for other stats to potentially shine more in the scenario. This would also stop all those 600 health builds you see everywhere. One thing to consider is that this would put more power to the build itself, as talent bonuses would immediately become a lot more relevant. This would push people further to believe that no attunement would become the clear king in terms of meta, because having a high amount of health and still being able to do a lot of damage. But if I think they really push for an approach like removing health altogether as a stat, they would of course take this into consideration, basically either, nerfing no attunement or changing it to accommodate for this. Again, this is only the possible solutions that I brought up. Let me know some of your own in the comments down below and your thoughts on Deepwoken's health problem. Thanks for watching.